Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Haunted Connections show. So, we're bringing this to you from the studio at the Paranormal Research Centre. And tonight we have our lovely guest, Rob Pyke. So, big welcome, Rob. Glad
Thanks,
to see
James.
you again.
So I say that again.
I said it's nice to see you again.
Thanks, Jane. You too, and you, Neil.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So, the nature of these chats is that with the ParaMeet coming up, we're inviting some of our speakers every week to come and have a chat with us so they can tell us a little bit about what they're going to talk about, a little bit about themselves, so that you get to know who they are. Isn't that right,
That's
boss?
right. That's right, Jane. So it's your turn tonight, Rob. So what do you what do you do in the paranormal?
Uh, Basically, I head up. We're a Leeds-based group called Veritas Paranormal. It's it's my hobby. It's not a business. It's my hobby. The same with you guys, and the same with everybody watching. It's our passion at the end of the day. And long may that continue. I'll never change it into a business. To that effect. That keeps me still wholly interested in the paranormal, and I have been for, let me think, work out my age, best part of 35 years or so, and we've all got those things that we want to see. I'd love to see the full scale apparition. I'd love to see, all that, and even when I do, I'll probably still continue as well, because I just love what we do. We take along small groups on our events, so that my wife and I, Anne Marie, she hosts the events alongside me as well, and we get to enjoy it along with the guests. And I'm pretty sure that rubs off as well on the events. But yeah, I love what I do. I really do.
So do you focus on charity events?
Yeah, I'll tell you a couple of reasons behind that, Neil, as well. This all basically started several years ago. We've got in Leeds, we've got some brilliant locations. We've got Abbey House Museum, we've got Leeds City Museum, some absolutely cracking venues. But most, if not, I'd say the majority of locations, they charge a location fee. I fancied doing Abbey House for quite some time, so I contacted the owners. They were more than amicable. Children in Need was on the TV. I said to them, look, can we come and do an event and give every penny to charity? And they said, yeah, absolutely fine. We got, I think it was about 30 people came along with us, and they opened the door for us, let us stay there until midnight and so on.
Yeah.
But basically, in a nutshell, it opens the doors of a lot of locations with us giving every single penny of profit to charity. That aside, it keeps the taxman off my back as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But also, it allows, like I said at the start of this conversation, it allows me and my wife, Anne Marie, to go and investigate locations that we want to investigate, that I'm excited about, and this excitement rubs off as well. Am I hearing something there?
I think that was the motorbike outside, but we have heard a big bang
on the window.
And we're on the first floor.
So unless a bird has flown into the window,
I don't know what it was. It was definitely on the window.
I don't know. I'm gonna have a quick
Jane's
look.
Gonna have a quick look. Oh, so you raise money for lots of different events then?
Yeah, lots of different charities. Yeah. With since Veritas has been operating, which, like I said, it's been about 3 years. Putting COVID aside, obviously those times were difficult. We couldn't get out as much as what we wanted to. In fact, we didn't get out at all, really, to be honest. But we've raised the best part of, I think, just over £9,000 now, with every single, if anyone's watching, for every single certificate and letter of thanks are on our website to keep us as open and honest as possible.
Yeah.
And again, long may that continue. I mean, there's so many nights that we go along to locations where nothing happens. We all get that, There'll be nights at the antique centre that you get, which are quiet as,
Yeah.
But it's that nice feeling at the end of the night to know that you've put a smile on someone's face, someone that you'll probably never even meet, but you've put that little bit of money aside for that person to help them out. And that works for me.
That's brilliant. And of course, a few years ago, you won an award from Higgy Pop, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah. Completely out the blue. I don't do it for pats on the back. I don't do it for, applause or anything like that. Obviously it's nice to get our name out there so people do know what we're doing. And yeah, it is nice to get that recognition. The more people we have in our group, ultimately, the more that we can give to charity.
Yeah.
And yeah, that award helped us get some recognition as well. Numbers boosted after that. But I say I'm not in it for medals, MBE, OBE, honours list, if that comes, I won't refuse.
Yeah. You never know.
Knighthood.
The first time I sort of spoke to you, I think I had to record a video because you won the unsung hero. Unsung
hero?
I don't know.
It's the Unsung Hero Award. It's just up behind me, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because I won it the year before. So I had to record a video saying congratulations. So that was nice.
You know what, as well, yes, it's nice to have the award on my shelf here, but without me sounding too cheesy, it isn't me. I get I say the easy part. I get the location. I sell the tickets, It's those members of Veritas who put their hands in the pockets and come along to these events. They're the ones who are giving to charity. I'm just a facilitator at the end of the day. So that award's not just for me. It's for Veritas Paranormal.
That's brilliant. Congratulations on that anyway.
Thanks, Neil. And to you too for the year before.
Been a few years ago now, actually, isn't it?
Was there an awards last year? I don't think there was there?
There wasn't any last year. Was there any? There wasn't the year before, was there?
No, I think too many people started complaining
but
moaning about.
So I'm still the unsung hero.
You are. You're the reigning champion. Can you believe though? Some people complained and moaned to Steve about the awards.
You know what? It's shocking. People, and I don't know how many people are watching here, but people honestly, they need to get a life. They really do. It's one. It's a bit of fun. It recognises us for what we do. We're not going to go along to the National Television Awards or any other these big award ceremonies. So it's nice to get a little something for what you do, running the Antique Centre, and everyone else who does that little bit, who goes that little bit more and beyond, who do what they do for the paranormal. And why shouldn't we get that pat on the back in recognition? You know what I mean?
That's right. I agree. I just think some people are so pathetic, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's nothing more you can say about him, is there?
No,
what?
Well, all I was going to say was, the votes were put out to people, weren't they? And people were voting. But I don't know if they realised that the votes were actually done by individual people online, and they were counted. It's not like there was
backhanders going about
that sort of thing.
I said it wouldn't do that sort of thing.
But it was all legit, and it's just a shame that some people did agree with the results and they kicked off.
Yeah, because unfortunately, some people thought they deserved an award, and they didn't get one. It's crazy, but never mind.
We all do our own bit in the world of the paranormal. We're all raising that awareness of locations, whether we're on the TV or whatever it is that we do, we all do that own bit. And people are coming along, not just with Veritas, for all sorts of different companies, businesses that run paranormal events. And people are keeping coming along because they're interested in the paranormal. And we shouldn't change. We just keep doing what we're doing because people are enjoying what we're doing, obviously. And we're giving back. And I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you?
Yeah. So you got an event coming up soon?
It's kind of our summer hiatus. Me and Mrs. P obviously gives us a bit of downtime during the summer. We're off up to Scotland for Anne-Marie's birthday later on in August. After that, we are at, where are we? Armley Mills with a really big year-ender event. We've got a couple lined up in the new year as well. Back to East Drive. Had a great night there the other night. But I still need to sort something out and come down to you. I do. I keep saying it. I'll see you at the ParaMeet and we'll sort something out, Neil.
We'll sort it out. Yeah, so are you looking forward to the ParaMeet?
I am deeply excited. I obviously I wasn't there last year.
No.
With what I've heard, you've put on a great event. Open, big. I'm guessing it's going to be bigger than last year, and I'm humbled to be a part of it. I'm humbled to be speaking to so many like-minded people as well, and I can't wait to meet everyone. I'm so looking forward to it. I really am, and thanks again for organising it. It must have been a nightmare, but thank you so much.
It is.
you're
It is.
welcome.
It is a nightmare, I must admit. But hey,
So, are we allowed a bit of a sneaky peek about what you're going to talk about at the ParaMeet?
Yeah, I mean, please, if anyone wants to message in, if there's any questions now, or I'm hoping on the night people are going to be helping me out with a bit of a Q&A going on as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little something about me.
Okay.
When I was young in school, I was born in 1971. I went to school in the 70s. And not many people know this, but hey, I'm putting it out there now. I had a really bad stammer. It's never ever gone away. I've still got it from time to time. The odd word trips me up from time to time. Kids, when the teacher used to read out the register, I couldn't say the teacher's name. She had one of those names that used to trip me up, and I used to stammer my way through her name. Kids used to laugh in the class, and I felt that big. I really did. And still to this day, when I'm speaking in front of people, even now here, it's at the back of my mind, right? If I start stammering, people are going to laugh. I know they won't. I know people, it's understood these days. My day job, I do a lot of public speaking. And I am so nervous before going out and speaking to all these professionals, what I do in the day job. But at the end of it, my confidence goes up the other notch. And that's what gets me through. I've learned how to manage my stammer. And again, the ParaMeet, I'm so nervous standing up and speaking to people. But at the end of the day, I know I can do it. I know I can, reach that level. Putting that aside, okay, 51 years of age, turning 52 on the 9th of August. Turning 52 on the 9th of August, Veritas Paranormal, Rob Pyke, if anyone wants to. Anyway, I've had experiences since I was 7, 8 years old, and I've got a whole life world of experiences. That includes service that I spent in the police, life experiences, what I've dealt with the paranormal. One thing I am mindful of, and I've spoken to Neil about this as well, I don't want to be too repetitive, what people have already spoken to over the weekend. Now, I'll jazz it up. I'll make it as fun, interesting, and whatever as I possibly can. But if there is anyone watching here just now or whenever, if you've got anything that you'd like me to have a look at, anyone going to the ParaMeet, then yeah, more than happy to chat away. So I'm not going to give away too much. I'll be brutally honest. It's still work in progress, but I am going to talk about to an extent. But yeah, I genuinely am looking forward to it. I can't wait. And I will make it a good talk. You did say I'm only on for 10 minutes, didn't you, on the Sunday? No, you didn't say that, did you? That's right. Yes.
I can actually associate myself with you with your stammer. Up until I was 8, I couldn't speak, and only my brother next to me could understand what I was saying. Even my mum couldn't understand what I was saying. Only Gary. So before I went to school, if I wanted something like sweets or something, my mum couldn't understand what I wanted, so she had to wait till Gary came home from school. and I was 8 before I sort of got out of it. I don't know why. It just suddenly snapped out and people understand me.
Does it still trip you up from time to time, or are you completely over it now?
I get nervous. I still get. We've been doing this years now. I still get nervous. I wouldn't like to do it on my own because I don't. I run out of things to say. Even now. So every now and again, I'll say, "Jane, you got a question?"
Please, Jane, please.
So fortunately, I've always got Jane sort of on the show with me. So if I run out of things, she's always got something to say. So
I'll be honest. I did. We went to the Shetland Islands last year on holiday. There's a place up on Unst, the furthest northern island. Wind Farm, Windsea. Someone will remember. I've forgotten. I've had breakfast since I've been. One of the most haunted locations in the whole of the UK. Nothing happened. Went there during the day. Had a look in. Did it feel eerie? not really. Not saying that it's not haunted, but it had brilliant potential. Love to go back there at night time. Anyway, we went up to Shetland, and me again being a complete idiot. I thought, while we're up there, why don't I do a little bit of a mini talk thing on the paranormal? Now, normally when I've done anything down here, normally get about 10, 20 people mildly interested. A few people come along. I think there was 86 people turned up in Lerwick at one of their little town halls, who booked tickets. Every penny went to a local Shetland charity as well, charity called Cope. And it just completely blew me away, the amount of people that turned up. I was stood up at the front, 86 people there, and they loved it. But again, confidence went up, but I was really nervous before. But yeah, absolutely amazing night. It was so good. But again, the charity angle, raising some money for Cope, and if there's any, I mean, I'd like to think I might be able to do something down at the ParaMeet. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I've had a lot of people ask me recently as well, including the BBC, and they've asked me for a couple of interviews from time to time as well. But again, it's getting these additional members in. And again, like I said at the start of this, thanks again for this exposure. I really appreciate it. To both of you, thank you.
Wow, it's our pleasure. So have you spoken to people who came to last year's ParaMeet, or did you just read about it?
I've spoken to a few. Don't ask me the names, can't remember. I've spoken to a few who absolutely loved it. And obviously I've seen photos, I've seen your comments as well. And yeah, it does look really exciting. I genuinely can't wait. I mean, I've booked up for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. I hope the cooked breakfast is nice. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm deeply excited to see, and long may this continue, Neil and Jane. Seriously, I mean, if we can get bigger and better, who knows? We'll be at the Birmingham NEC before long, and the Paranormal National something. I don't know.
National ParaMeet, that'll be good. Well, it's a National ParaMeet now, but
5 years' time we'll do something in New York or something. Who knows?
But I think you'll be pretty impressed with Brownsover Hall. I think you'll be pretty impressed by the location. It is an amazing place.
And is there something happening on the Saturday night or the Friday night as well?
On the Friday night, there's nothing planned. It's just that quite a few speakers and quite a few of it, we're all staying Friday night. So it's just a get together. We can have a laugh. Well, we don't drink anyway, so we won't have a drink. But it's just to have a laugh and chill out Friday night, I think. Saturday
it's like a social, isn't it? It's a social sort of gathering on the Friday night.
But on the Saturday night, we're doing a big investigation in one room, a bit like a seance, but we've got to have other stuff around as well. So that's going to be exciting. I'm
looking forward to it. I can't wait. And again, thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, we've also bought the two most haunted bedrooms to ourselves. So there'll be investigations going on all through the night and all through the day, Saturday as well. So we want to compile as much evidence as we can over the weekend. So that's what we want to do.
And it's in a lovely setting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lovely building. Last year was a Bosworth Hall, but there's some issues with tea and coffee and food at Bosworth Hall, and actually they double booked one of the rooms, which is not very good to me. But
the bride was sort of
weren't too happy
a bit because one of her rooms wasn't available because we were all in it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
so a big company should not do that, as far as I'm concerned.
I take it we've got the whole building, have we?
We've got the whole building, yeah.
Brilliant.
And there's free tea and coffee all the time.
Unless you want to make a donation. I'll put a donation box because I'm a bit hard up at the minute. It's costing me more than I thought in the first place. While Bill says Neil is too shy to be on his own, laugh out loud, Jane has to hold his hand.
No, I don't.
She doesn't hold me hand.
I just run away and leave him there.
If something goes bang in the centre, she runs off. I'm telling you, you're supposed to be here to protect me.
We've done it before, haven't we?
Yeah. So on the Saturday night we're going to have lots of experiments. We're going to have big sounds in the middle of the room. We're going to have Ouija boards if people want to go on there. We're going to have our new piece of equipment, which I'm going to show the world tonight. You've had a sneak peek already, Rob.
I have. I'm deeply jealous.
And they look really good. I'm really excited about, especially about one. I'm really excited because, well, they're all three. I've never, as far as I'm aware, they don't exist anywhere else.
They've been in the pipeline a little while, haven't they? So it's just nice to see it all come together, really.
Yeah. So I am going to show them in a bit towards the end of this chat. But the good thing about the ParaMeet, it's so friendly. You know, there's no egos. There's no, you can't touch me because I'm above you, that sort of thing. Everyone just laughs and smiles and
lots of hugs
makes
everywhere.
friends. Yeah, there's hugs everywhere.
And so it should be. At the end of the day, that's what we're all there for. That's what we love, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that social side of it. I always think if you go on a really good ghost hunt with all your friends, it's already a good night. And if you get any activity, then that's just a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Couldn't have put it better. Exactly.
Yeah. So it is. It's a lot of stress at the minute working up to it. But once it comes, I think we're all going to relax, and once people start coming through the door. But we've got some fantastic speakers again. And obviously we've got new ones this year as well.
And then you scrape the barrel and give me a call, and you know that.
No, actually, I've had people ask if they can talk at the ParaMeet right up to today. Somebody messaged me today, asked if they could come and speak at the ParaMeet, and I said no, I can't.
Well, we've already sort of extended, haven't we? Last year we only had the speakers on the Saturday, but now we've sort of made it a bigger event. There's now speakers all day Saturday and all day Sunday, so it's already been sort of squeezed as much as we can, hasn't it?
You're going to do 2 weekends back to back.
Oh.
Make it a week.
Oh God, no, don't.
Hashtag stress.
Yeah. Let me just read out Wild Bill's comment. My favourite paranormal page has got to be HAPRC/PRC, and now on Roku is Ghost Planet Network, and you can't beat the price. It's free. So did you know about our TV channel, Rob?
I did. I haven't dived in yet, and for that you have my apologies. But yeah, Ghost Planet Network, great idea. And again, this is something as well which is just enhancing what we all do. So again, massive thanks to you both. You know,
Well, I think it's quite important to us to try and make the paranormal affordable for people. Even with the ParaMeet, you know, it's £11 for 2 days. It's £7 for a day's ticket. And even in the past when we've done it, we've had it as an open day, and you know, the focus is not on the money; it's bringing people together. I mean, most time I should think Neil's about out of pocket, aren't you? Because he more or less gives it away really to try and get people together and trying to get people to, you know, join in that paranormal community. So, you know, it's hats off to Neil really. Because he put such a lot of hard work into a lot of what he does.
We are on bread and jam up until Christmas now, if we're lucky.
Christmas this year or next year?
Next year, the way it's going, to be honest. Yeah, I think I do sometimes think I make it too cheap. Actually, I've had to go out and get 2 jobs besides this one.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. But you know, I mean, well, I'm kind of in the same boat to an extent with quite a lot of our events. I just, as long as I get the location fee paid for wherever we're going, as far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean? That's all I need. Anything else then gets donated to charity. Now, I'm not going to skimp off that at all. So snacks, hot drinks, the kit that we all use, you know, that's down to me, which I've got no problem with that at all. Because again, it's the old cliched. It's our hobby. It's our passion. It's what we all love to do. Investigate the paranormal, you know, and try and make it accessible and as affordable as well as what we possibly can. And that's what we're doing, you know.
Have you noticed any downturn in sort of numbers just lately?
Yeah, I really have. To an extent, and I'll be brutally honest, our own bank account, we're about £2,000 down at the moment. And that's the knock on from COVID with locations cancelling, which I've booked deposits and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have. I'm not pushing as many events as what I did this time last year, and I get people just can't afford it really to an extent.
Yeah.
We used to do the odd weekend event where we're looking at about £150 for the weekend. I mean, I asked myself the question: can I afford that? No, I can't. Is it worth me putting it on? Not really. No. So I'm looking for locations that are that little bit cheaper or free if they'll open the doors and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And yeah, to keep prices as low as what I possibly can. But yeah, people are still interested, but not as much interest as what there was, like I said, this time last year.
Yeah, it's hard at the minute, isn't it, with the cost of living and everything. I think ghost hunting's being hit really hard at the minute for all the venue groups, all the teams, all the locations, because I think locations are putting their prices up because they need the money to survive, but then teams don't have the money or can't sell the tickets to go anyway. So
exactly. Whether it's going to end up pricing us out, I don't think it will to an extent, but you know, I think it's a luxury, to be honest, to go on a paranormal event, and a luxury which a lot of people are struggling to afford, which I get that for one, I really do. I mean, I don't know how you guys are for bookings at the Antique Centre, but yeah, it slowed down, and I've had to recognise that in the amount of events that we're putting on as Veritas, at least.
Yeah, it's hard at the minute, and I think it's going to get harder perhaps next year.
I think the squeeze is just on the average person in the street, isn't it? You know, the mortgages have gone up, your food's doubled, your gas and electric has doubled or tripled, and and there's just people's outgoings have been really, pushed to the limit. And, in some cases, people just are struggling to survive. And of course, things like ghost hunting and going to these events is going to be the last thing on their list, isn't it? Like you say, it's a luxury really now. And, any spare cash you got, you've just got to put it aside, because for a rainy day, you don't know if the interest rates are going to go up again. You don't know how it's going to pan out at the moment.
Yeah, difficult. But I've noticed, because I besides watching all the videos on Ghost Planet Network, I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and there seems to be a lot more YouTubers going to outdoor locations or locations where perhaps they shouldn't be going, like abandoned places. I think that's on the increase, because the YouTubers have got to get the footage out to keep their subscriptions up. But there's a lot more going to outside locations, which is, so they obviously they're struggling as well, I think.
We all are, but we've all got that passion. We've all got that hobby. I certainly wouldn't take any team to anything that wasn't risk assessed beforehand or safe or derelict or whatever. And I certainly wouldn't recommend anyone doing that themselves either. To be honest with you, you've got to put your own health and well-being first and foremost, 100%. I can't say much more on that aspect, to be honest with you, but but we've all got to survive.
It's just a case of riding the storm, isn't it? Like we did in COVID, and just waiting for things to get better, really, because that's all you can do.
So you've not got many venues this year then to go?
No, we've only got Armley. In the new year, we're back at East Drive for an overnighter. We were there recently. Great night. And then we're down in South Wales, which I can't mention the location in a public forum, but it does sound absolutely amazing place. It really does. And we're looking forward to that. We're making a weekend out of that. But yeah, that does look fantastic. And I am looking at a few of the locations for next year, because there's been a bit of a spike of interest in our group. But I've got to keep them cheap. With what we've just discussed, I've got to keep them cheap. I can't go for these big, massive mansion houses or anything like that. So yeah, we'll see how the storm develops, as Jane would say.
So hopefully the ParaMeet will enhance your group.
I hope so. Yeah,
Um,
even if we get one new joiner, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, if I can get our name out there that little bit more, like I said, the more people that are in our group, the more we'll see what we're doing for
yeah,
charitable causes.
yeah,
And the more members we've got, the more we can give to charity, you know, and
yeah,
it's nothing to do with my bank balance at all. But let's give that little bit extra to people
yeah.
who really need it now more so than ever, with people not being able to afford to do what they like to do. Okay, even charities are taking a hit because people can't afford to donate.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
with us, with our events, you know, like we're not filling the gap, obviously, but we're still making those donations to local and national charities.
yeah, that's good. So do you just promote your events on Facebook then? Is it?
We've got our website, which is Veritas Paranormal UK. That'll come up in Google.
Yeah,
We've got our website. Put the events on there. There's a link to our Facebook group page on there as well. Aside from the day job, I don't have a massive amount of time to be plugging events. I wish I had more time, but I don't.
yeah,
And that's what keeps the roof over our heads, to be honest with you. So yeah, but again, like I said, we only take along small numbers, 15, 20
yeah,
people at the most to our events, you know, and that's what keeps it a more of a personable experience as well,
yeah, yeah,
which we like, our guests like, you know,
yeah.
and we
Cool.
can spend time with more of the guests that come along. But yeah.
So do you use all the gadgets on your events?
We've got the old style equipment, Ouija boards. We do automatic writing, divination rods, crystals, scrying mirror. And then we've got the new tech. We've got a CCTV system, which is all wireless. REM pod. I believe you have something about a REM pod later on, don't you?
Yeah,
We've got a REM pod. What have we got? What have we got? Thermal imaging camera, SLS camera. SBS11, SB11. What's it called? The radio thing.
Spirit box thing.
Spirit box, and the portal box as well.
Right.
But yeah, we try and mix the old with the new. Probably similar to yourselves, we never rely on one piece of tech equipment. We'll always try and use it in conjunction with another to see what we're getting, and so on and so on, you know. And again, similar with the old style stuff as well, to see what we get through and then try and collaborate it with something else. But yeah, all of the equipment, we take all that along on the event as well and let people reintroduce it, sit with the people, get them used to it. And a lot of our guests now are returning guests, so they know how to use the equipment. They can just crack on really to an extent, which lets me and my wife Anne-Marie to enjoy the event even more so because they know what they're doing, which it's just win-win. It's brilliant.
So do you find so there are some seasoned ghost hunters, if you like that term, coming with your group, so they don't need babysitting basically?
Yeah, a lot of them coming along now. They know what we're doing and they know what we expect. What we do, and I'm sure you do it as well, as a lot of other groups do it as well. What we do respectfully. Anne-Marie's dad comes through a lot on Ouija boards. My dad has come through on Portal Box. So there's not a cat in hell's chance I'm going to stand up in the middle of a room and demand spirits to come through. Not my style, okay? I'll never do it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that won't do that either, you know?
Yeah.
We do what we do respectfully. If spirits don't want to come forward, they don't want to come forward. And that's 100% absolutely fine. We enjoy the night. We have a laugh. And we see what we get. I mentioned to you earlier on East Drive, we were there the other week. I loved it. 16 nights have been there. 16, not on the bounce. Over the years, 16 times have been there. And the one the other week just blew me away. Best one ever. Yeah. Absolutely amazing night. Really good.
Yeah. We've been twice, haven't we, Jane?
Yeah.
And got nothing either night.
Nothing at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Out of the 16 times we've been, I'd say I've been lucky about 6.
Yeah. Very hit and miss. But then every location, is it?
Yeah.
So you got any questions, Jane?
Yeah.
I do have actually something to say, but I thought you're sitting there so quiet.
I'm listening. I'm intrigued. What sort of things would you like to see in the future in the paranormal?
Artificial intelligence seems to be the fashionable thing at the moment. How we could maybe link that into any kind of a tech, I don't know. Maybe send, I don't know, a blow up automatic investigator to send them into a darkened room that we don't want to go into ourselves. You know, I don't know. We've got so much history here in the UK. We've got all of this tech equipment. Neil's got some devices there, which he's going to show you all later. But, you know, it needs to be, I don't know, more accessible. But then there's the cost of living, and then there's all that, you know. Honest answer, Jane, I don't know. Am I too old-fashioned myself? I probably am these days, to be honest with you, you know. But I'd love to see a breakthrough in some part of equipment in what we've already got or what can be put in. Like I say, that there is scope for AI to be used to an extent. Where, how, whatever reason, I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But like I say, it's coming down the pipeline in the workplace at least, and a lot of people's homes as well. It's already there. So I'm sure there'll be somebody fiddling around with some wires and soldering and doing something, and maybe coming up with something that can be used. I don't know.
So I think AI could be a bit dangerous in the long run because it's sort of getting a lot of its information, isn't it? It scours like the internet and stuff and gets a lot of information from there, and a lot of that information could be wrong because it's programmed by people. And you know, are we making a bigger mess for ourselves to clean up later?
Who knows? Probably are.
I don't actually. I actually think mankind is heading for a big reset.
Okay, here's one for you then.
No.
So, being as our sort of spirit and everything else like that is based on consciousness and stuff like that, with AI, do you think the robot or whatever, or you know, the AI itself, would it have a spirit or a soul? Because if it gets its own consciousness, would it?
Then you're in
how
trouble.
would that evolve?
I think that would happen eventually.
So would we be picking up spirits?
I think someone, when they die, their spirits will go into one of these robots.
Oh yeah, oh, interesting.
I would say what Neil said. That's my cop out.
That's a good cop out.
Thanks, Neil.
We have crazy conversations like this all the time.
We quite often we have cop outs. Okay, then. Do you like new bits of equipment? Let's go on to our big news that we're releasing to the paranormal world tonight. Do you like new pieces of gadgets?
It does excite me. It really does. See these things on the telly and all sorts, you know. I think, I could buy that. I could buy that there as well. Or I like that one there. And they've all got the letters and the different names and the numbers and everything, you know. But even here's a question for you both. Right. Okay. Apps.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, people probably shoot me down here. Biggest load of rubbish out.
Yeah.
However, I've seen a lot of guests use them, bringing obviously the smartphones along and using the apps. And there's some have opened my eyes, raised an eyebrow or two from time to time, you know. But again, this time a couple of years ago, not many, if any, apps around. This day and age, I think there's about 20, 30, 40, 50. God knows how many there is. There's lots, isn't there? Do they all work? I don't know. I'm really on the fence with them. I really am.
Yeah, I'm on the fence as well. I don't use them enough to build up an argument for or against. However, if spirit is pure energy and your phone is energy, why can they not affect him? It's a bit like orbs, isn't it? You know, some people say, not bother, not interested with orbs, they're all dust. I think you can't generalize it. Okay, 99% of them probably are dust. but some are interesting. So don't dismiss them all.
Yeah.
So I think that's the same with apps. I think some apps are kids' toys, but some I've seen some decent responses on. So I don't see why Spirit can't affect the apps, because it uses energy.
Why I was getting to that, which exactly, you've just hit the nail on the head there. With your phone, with the apps, you've already got that energy. Whether that's interfering or not, I don't know. I'd rather have my phone off and out the way and use a piece of equipment that's actually dedicated just to doing what it's to do, instead of a phone, which is an app, which is there, is also a phone as well, and a typewriter, everything built into your phone. Too many things going on. I'd rather use one piece of equipment. And I know you've got 3 there, but I'm more inclined to use a piece of kit that's dedicated to do what it says on the tin, as opposed to 1,000,001 things on my phone, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, then. I know Amy's watching. Even Ames, who's one of the team up the centre, she's not even seen these. So we have we are working closely with electronics expert, shall we say?
Yeah.
You probably won't like me saying expert, and he's come up with 3 new pieces of equipment. So do you like REM pods, Rob?
We've got a REM pod. I use it. I love it. It's brilliant. Yeah.
But the cheap ones really don't work, do they?
Oh, I have an expensive one, Neil.
Yes, so do we. Okay, then and with REM pods, they are static gadgets, aren't they? You
set it down, let us do a thing. Can't really move it anywhere. Yeah.
Set it down. You go anywhere near it, it's going to set off.
Yeah.
We have what I have named the REM port. Now, this, as you can see, this is handheld. I don't know if it'll work because it's probably going to go off because of the laptop. But what this has is an aerial. It's the same as a REM pod, but once you set it, it'll set itself to ignore my hand. Okay, but it's picking up the laptop, so it's not a good display here. So this is a handheld REM pod.
And the aerial does the same function as the static one, does it? It's got that field of energy around the aerial.
It's just that
it doesn't recognise your hand.
It's not recognising my hand now, so I can walk around with this.
So you said just touch it.
So the way we would start using it, we've done some experiments with it already. If Jane says there's a spirit of a person over there, I could go over, and if it reacts, then if Jane says it's moving, I can actually follow the spirit over. So it's not picking my hand up at all.
No.
But if it goes to
anything
Jane,
else, it's going to pick up in the atmosphere.
Yeah. So I think this is ingenious. Now you can also change the music. Whatever you want to, whatever. So personally,
like too cheesy.
I think that's ingenious. Personally, I know it's our piece of equipment,
and it's a lovely pocket-sized bit of kit. It's not.
And it's pocket size.
Yeah, it's not a big cumbersome piece of equipment.
So all 3 pieces are exactly the same size, which I think is good. So that's the first one. All these will be available to order from tomorrow on our website. The second piece, I've got to see what they do. This is the ParaFlux. It's a little bit like a K2, but it's gone up to a different level. This will pick up on static electricity as well. So quite often people say they feel all staticky. You know, they feel the static charge. This will pick it up. This will react to it.
Again, with the light showing how much.
Yeah, and obviously the more energy is around it, the lights go up. Again, I think very useful. And the third piece, I call this Parasonics, right? A little bit different. It's got a sensor in, and this will pick up on ultrasound. So, the theory is spirit communicate at different frequencies. Ultrasound we can't hear. But if this picks up on any sounds that we can't hear, it will react. Again, it's got the lights.
So in theory, then, if you've got a EVP recorder, if that's going off, it should sort of be in sync with your EVP.
Yeah,
exactly.
So this will react to ultrasound, the sounds that we can't hear. There's only one downside to this one, is if you're in an old building with bats who communicate in ultrasound,
it's going to be going off.
You could pick the bats up. But again, that's a really clever piece of equipment. And again, it's hold it in your hand. You can put it in your pocket, easy to carry around. We are working on other gadgets as well, which I've talked to the guy about. So it's all very exciting. So you're the first ones to see it. So please make any comments. AIM says the REM port is very clever. So what's your initial reactions to Rob?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen the sound one that last one that you saw,
Yeah.
I can't recall seeing anything similar on the market at all.
No.
And the good thing is as well, with all of those bits of kit, you could use them in conjunction with one another as well.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but we always use, I did mention this. We always tend to use one piece of tech equipment alongside another piece as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, to have those options where you're mobile as well, because again, there's nothing worse than just leaving a bit of kit in one room and then you're walking around from one room to the next. You could take it with you quite easily. Yeah, works for me.
I think the REM port is going to be a bit of a game changer to me. I'm so impressed with the first one.
The fact that baseline's in your hand as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I just think, wow, because the REM pod's great, isn't it? I love we do love.
I was just going to say, as soon as you pick a REM pod up, though, that's it. It's alarming all over the place, until you put it back down again. Yeah,
so you can't follow any potential spirit
exactly
with the traditional REM pod. But with this one, because it's not recognizing your hand, you can. And I think it's
and for anybody that wants to see them up close, they will be available to be seen at the ParaMeet.
We will be taking orders at the ParaMeet as well.
It's a bit tricky perhaps to see them in full detail over through a live feed, but if you're coming along to ParaMeet, they will be available for you to have a look at and even try out. So
we can have a play with them. People can have a play with them in the two haunted rooms, two most haunted rooms. Amy says, I'm interested in the REM port, and then she says, I want one before then. Wow, you've got to spend some money then, Ames. I do actually have 3 REM ports, and the guys built 3 because the REM port was the first gadget that we spoke to them about.
But there is a lead time on them, so if anybody orders them, I think there's something like a 4-week lead time. We have to give the guy time to get the components and to make them, and so sort of 4 weeks is the waiting time for the orders if you're placing orders.
They will be made to order. So
it's all very exciting.
It is. I know we've done a little bit with the REM port already, but it'd be interesting to have a night up here, just us. And like I say, you'll say, "Oh, there's an entity there," and we can go and see for ourselves.
Yeah, and I can even hold it, can't I?
Yeah.
And use it when we're sensing, picking things up. So it's going to be cool.
It's going to be exciting. So you can place your order, Rob.
I'll get onto it right now, Neil. Thank you so
much. No pressure, mate. But I've given you the opportunity to speak at ParaMeet. I'm just joking.
I'll have 3 of each.
So yeah, all 3 devices will be available to order on our website from tomorrow. Don't look tonight; they'll be tomorrow. I'll put them on tomorrow, and you can place your orders. And like Jane says, Alistair said, "Can I have a pink one if they're made to order?" I think we can possibly change the colours.
Wow.
I'll need to speak to Martin about that, but I think we can change the colours, but we'll see.
Everything but purple.
Everything
Wasn't
but
that what they
purple.
said,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
So yeah, I like it, and they're all exactly the same size. So handy,
And clearly marked.
Clearly marked. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to people using them and giving us their feedback. You know.
Yeah. If there's anything that we can do to improve, we're always looking for, always making things better.
Alistair says, "What sort of price are they?" I will sort the prices. Well, announce the prices tomorrow when they go on the website. Obviously, we will keep them as cheap as we possibly can. We do want to make money on these, obviously, but they're not going to be like the normal cost. The cost of a normal REM pod, it'll be nowhere near that sort of thing, because they're quite expensive now. The proper ones, aren't they?
I think they're north of 100 quid, aren't they, at least?
Yeah, so I've seen some 300 quid even.
Really?
Yeah. They're probably from America. I don't know.
Probably.
So yeah, check the website tomorrow. I'm going to put them on tomorrow, and get your orders in, please. Like Jane says, be about a 4-week lead time, because the guy's got to get the components in, because he can't afford to make 20 of each one, because we don't know if we're going to sell them, do we? So it's, at the minute, that's how it is. Once someone orders it, we will order him to make it. So it's exciting. I'm looking forward to people buying them, obviously, and people using them. And if people do buy them and use them, please leave us your feedback, because we want to know what experiences you get using them.
Yeah.
And obviously, if any of the teams who put content on Ghost Planet Network and you want to use them, put them on your videos, that'd be fantastic.
It'd be good, wouldn't it?
So we only got 8 minutes to go. That's gone quick again. That's good. So you're really looking forward to the ParaMeet. It's only 6 weeks away, you know.
Well, we'll be in Scotland before then. We'll go off up to Argyll on the 25th of August for a week. We'll get home, and then I'll be coming down on myself to the ParaMeet on the Friday night. Yeah, I generally can't wait. I am nervous about speaking in front of a crowd on Sunday, so if there's anybody watching here tonight, who please take it easy on me. And I know there's a couple of Veritas members coming down as well, so I'm going to strategically place them in the crowd to ask questions at the right time as well. All right.
If you put them at the front, they'll catch all the tomatoes.
That's what I'm hoping. That's exactly what I'm hoping for.
But seriously, if last year's anything to go by, the people who will be in the audience are fantastic, genuine people who are interested in everything that everyone says.
Good thing is, Neil, being on the Sunday, I think I'm pretty much one of the last-ish ones. I can pick up some tips from the ones speaking on the Saturday and the Sunday.
Don't copy me and Jane.
Fair enough then. All right.
I normally just blag it. I don't make any notes for these shows, you know. I just blag it.
And I made a few little notes.
You made a few little notes, but I disregarded them. I just went on a tangent as normal, didn't I?
Yeah, it works.
But it's good fun. Everyone, no, seriously though, everyone is so nice, and the atmosphere is so nice. There's not going to be any negativity at all. If last year's anything to go by, it's, you know, one of the most iconic photographs from last year is, I think there's Barry Frankish, Lorianne, Kate. There's about 6 people all together laughing, and they'd never met each other before that day.
It's out in the garden,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It's a
and you
lovely
think-
picture.
They knew each other on Facebook, like everyone knows everyone on Facebook, don't they? But it's nice to meet people in person. And no, straight away we've got a shared interest, aren't we? You know, you talk about ghosts, and everyone wants to talk about ghosts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's not like you got nothing to talk about. So, and it's really good that we keep telling people if they want to buy a ticket but they've got no one to come with, don't worry about that. Just come on. We've sold quite a few single tickets. People are coming on their own. But honestly, I'm not just saying this because it's our event, but they will not be on their own.
No, everyone's got the same mindset. Everyone's there for one reason at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So whether you're on your own or not, I'm coming down on my own. You know what I mean? I can't wait. And yeah, it's going to be brilliant to meet so many new people as well. So many people interested in the same thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah, you can talk about absolutely anything. If you want to talk about the Fae, aliens, UFOs,
Cryptids,
Loch Ness monster,
there'll always be someone that will listen and
everyone will
you.
talk to you. Emma says, I think it'll be a real eye-opener for me. Can't wait.
Yeah, and there's also going to be lots of stalls as well, isn't there? There's going to be tarot readers, there's going to be
all
healers,
sorts, crystals,
and different crystals. So there's going to be lots and lots of goodies there as well.
Amy says, come as a stranger, leave with lots of friends. Yeah,
exactly.
So do you know the Haunted magazine guys?
Yeah, Paul. Yeah,
Paul and Andy.
Yes, yeah.
They're there.
Again, I've never met them. Are they going to be there?
Yeah, they're there.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so, you know, one thing I'll say about Paul, I say this to everybody, don't let Paul make you a cup of tea. he's crap at it.
Fair dues.
They came here once with some guests, you know, and he tried to make this young lad a cup of tea, but he put a green tea bag in. And you don't put milk in green tea bags because it's just milk.
Yeah. Longest thing ever.
He kept putting green tea bags in. And this lad looked at it and thought, I ain't drinking that. So bless him, we rib Paul every time we see him about his tea making. But it confuses you. You know, he'll come down some Wednesdays just for a chat with us. And Jane will say, do you want a drink? He said, yeah, I'll have
a black
coffee with milk.
Which is a black coffee with milk, isn't it? Starts off as a black coffee before you put the milk in.
But you know, everyone loves them pair, but they're just so nice. Let me read a couple of comments.
I've never met him. Looking forward to it.
You'll forget him. Once you met him, you won't forget him. And Nath says, I'll definitely be there at some point, guys. I'll drag the whole Paraverse live show and podcast series down with me. Would be happy to talk about any subject. Yeah, please do, Nath. That'd be great to meet you all.
I'm sure there'll be a few people perhaps walking around doing live feeds.
Yeah. We got Steve Higgins. He's coming down again. No doubt he will be recording, videoing people. And I think my son Ben, he's going to come and video for Ghost Planet Network. So that's going to go on there as well. Amy says especially green tea. Yeah, don't ask Paul to make you a cup of tea. And then he did it with peppermint tea too. But yeah, it's just a great weekend. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm terrified about it at the minute.
The bit I'm looking forward to is actually staying in the hotel, because last year the event was at Bosworth Hall and there was a lot of things going on here at the centre as well. So we were backwards and forwards. And it was a bit exhausting, really, wasn't it, over the weekend?
Yeah.
So we are just so pleased to be all in one place all of the time.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. And you won't be on your own.
Yeah, and we're looking so forward to meeting so many people again. It's going to be great. And you know, meeting people like yourself in person, and it's great to just get everybody together.
Yeah.
You don't realize online with these kind of Teams meetings, Zoom meetings, whatever, that people actually have legs.
Yeah.
Until you meet them in real life and think, oh my God, how tall are you?
Yeah.
Well, Amy's just said, don't forget your confessions. We are having a confessional booth as well. So if you've got any funny stories, paranormal confessions, we're going to have a confessional booth. So you can go in the confessional booth and confess all your paranormal sins.
These aren't shared externally, are they?
Well, they are.
But they can be anonymous.
You can make it anonymous if you want.
I'm just thinking legal wise here. I'm just thinking.
If you want to make it anonymous, that'll be fine, but I will know who you are. Right, that's 9:00. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Rob. It's been great chatting to you.
Lovely to see you again.
Thanks to everyone who's been watching and commenting. It's always good to read comments. If you're interested in any of our 3 gadgets, go onto the website tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you need your tickets for the
ParaMeet, we're still selling tickets. They're only £11 for the whole weekend, or £7 for one day.
I think the hotel is full now.
The
isn't
hotel's
it, on
fully
accommodation,
booked,
but there is accommodation round and about.
There's a Premier Inn just down the road, so come and have a good weekend.
Can I just say thanks as well to Neil and Jane here for having me on this evening. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to meeting you both finally in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, it's going to be good fun. So I'm going to turn the computer around a bit and we're going to end the feed. So thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
See ya.